Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, you all know that as of recently, we have started our initiative at building up a portfolio of smaller cap cryptos that could have a lot of potential over the next few years. You know that at this current point in time, I do believe we are getting towards the bottom of this bear market, and with that said, a bull market could be starting soon, which will allow some of these smaller cap cryptos to see quite substantial growth. And so what I'm doing is building up a small portfolio of them, not putting in a crazy amount of money, but a little bit in each and every one, because I do believe that they could have the potential to see big growth, and I am going to continue to build this thing out throughout the bottom of this bear market into the next bull market. So with that said, we have one today that has been able to raise over $2 million just in their public round alone, which honestly in current times is not easy to do. A lot of people are not investing right now, and so when companies are able to actually raise money, they usually have something very special going on, and I do believe this company has something special going on. And so I wanted to tell you all today about Brickken and why I personally am again going to be investing my money into them. So before we talk about the token itself, let me tell you just a little bit about who they are and what they do so you understand where I'm coming from. So when it comes to Brickken, they aim to enable asset owners worldwide to embrace a decentralized fundraising approach by leveraging blockchain technology, offering individuals the opportunity to generate passive income. Our goal is to equip companies with the necessary tools to tokenize assets on a global scale and enter the token economy. Now, there's two main reasons why I do believe this is important. The first one being, of course, what we are going to see in the bull market. During the bull market that will either come this year or next year, there are going to be thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people with token ideas and business owners that want to implement tokenization within their company. And they're going to need a way to do it because realistically, the whole tokenization process can be rather confusing and difficult. And so for Brickken to be able to offer that to them, I do see them being able to drive a lot of volume to their company just even during one small bull market. Let's not talk about multiple years. Now, another reason I believe this to be important is you all know that I've done a lot of work with a company named Solaugo through my growth agency. Now, Solaugo takes their own native token and uses it to purchase businesses in the real world. They then take the profits and dividends from that business and then re-inject it back into their token, of course, causing a general price movement in the upward direction. And I have seen firsthand as they have tried to digitalize their own assets, being their businesses, that it can be a rather confusing process, especially with compliance and regulations. And so having a company such as Brickken that could offer solutions to those problems could be absolutely massive, and I can say that from firsthand experience. So let's now talk about what that solution is and how they plan on going about it. So their whole game plan is to allow you to create, sell, and manage your digital assets. Now, the method or the way in which they're going to go about this is honestly quite simple. First, you're going to need to create your digital asset. From defining, designing, and launching your token, you're going to come up with the name, of course, the logo, the token supply, all of the basic things behind an actual token itself. Then you're going to sell your digital asset. This is your private sale, your pre-sale, and your public round, in which you can build your token sale store, launch a compliant sale, and promote that token sale. Keyword here on compliant, because they do a lot of regulatory work in making sure that each company is actually within compliance of their local regulators, which is a good touch because Web3 usually doesn't care about that, honestly. Now, moving forward, of course, post-launch, you can then manage your digital asset through Brickken. They allow you to manage your investor relations, simplify financial operations, and automate token workflows. And so this allows you to make sure that your vestings, of course, with your investor relations, your dApp creation and overall tokenization processes after your launch are all super automated, all super easy and simple, so that it is a pretty easy process for these companies to actually, again, tokenize their assets and fundraise through investors in Web3. Now, as I mentioned before, they do a lot of work in terms of regulatory framework, which, as I said before, isn't something that many companies in Web3 offer. Now, let me tell you why that is. Well, not only do they have their whole entire team doxed, which you guys know I do prefer. I'm not going to say you absolutely have to be completely public, but I definitely do prefer it. And one thing that we can see is that their actual CEO, Edwin Mato Navarro, is actually a blockchain lawyer. And so it makes sense as to why someone with this background could allow and enable his company to target some of these different compliances and regulations and make sure that companies are working within the correct legal framework, because he he has experience in terms of the law itself, which is obviously a good touch. Now, they do have 4 main core values as a company that I think are relatively important, because I think many of us as Web3 investors do agree with them. So first and foremost, it is autonomy. Now, of course, that just means self-governance, the actual belief in decentralization, in DAOs, and things of that nature that take the power away from one centralized entity and put it across the people. And so, of course, their goal here is to allow companies to access that form of self-governance or that form of autonomy. Now, next up is simplicity. Now, from firsthand experience, I will say many of these company owners aren't super well-rounded within the world of crypto itself, and they typically do need a lot of guidance throughout the tokenization process. And so because they are creating a rather simplified version of their token suite, which allows you to tokenize your assets easily, I do believe that that will be quite important as well. Now, as we mentioned before, compliance and making sure that the legal framework is correct so that no one gets in trouble at the end of the day. And then lastly, of course, democracy. Now, I do agree with this one, so let's read the full thing. And it says, Bricken's DApp paves the way to open illiquid markets to the world, creating a solution to democratize fundraising and bridge the gap between legacy finance, retail investing, and the decentralized cryptoverse, resulting in new investment opportunities. I love the idea of being able to bridge the gap between traditional and non-traditional finance, and that is something in which they are targeting with their company, which I think allows them to even access further people than many of the Web3 companies we see today. Now, through these 4 values, they plan on creating an entire ecosystem to support companies. Now, of course, the first one is the one we talked about, which is their token suite, which allows you to create, sell, and manage your tokens with ease and join the token economy revolution. Next up, there will be an investment portal, which allows you to discover the latest sales launched on Brickken. You can join the token economy and invest in the companies driving the revolution. And lastly, of course, you can access a vetted network of industry professionals and Web3 solutions. Now, in terms of this overall economy, it is just something that is quite simple. Simply put, they allow companies to create and tokenize their assets. They then allow investors to go forward and invest into those companies and invest into those tokenizations. And then they provide everyone with access to experts to make this process very easy and simple. It's rather simple, but pretty complex as you do think about it. Now, driving this entire ecosystem, they will have the Brickken token, which does have a lot of utility. So first and foremost, the issuers of token offerings will have to pay a setup fee of $5,000 in the token, followed by a $45 a month subscription fee paid in the token as well. So obviously that does just naturally drive volume to the charts, especially as they do get more and more of these companies onboarded. Then, of course, the people who want to take part in the Brickken community receive exclusive perks from token issuers and from Brickken itself, will also need to purchase Brickken tokens, which does drive up more volume. There will also be staking incentives for people who just want to hold the token and get rewards and perks from it. You can also get access to the STOs using the Brickken token, which is kind of one of those exclusive perks in which they offer, which also does come with discounts and cash back in the Brickken token, kind of like a dividend. Now, finally, you can get paid commission in Brickken from the referral program. You can sell your services on the platform in exchange for Brickken, and you get, of course, expert staking through Brickken as well. So as you can see, they are putting a lot of work into the token itself and making sure that it has a lot of utility, and that is a part of the reason why I believe they've had such a successful public round as of now, which has had them see over 2,000 investors access it, 40% of the public round being sold within just 5 days, which equaled over $2 million. You guys know I follow the money, and that is a lot of money. Now, in terms of the total token allocation, what you can see is that there's a total supply of 150 million Brickken, and the full allocation schedule is offered up here if you do want to go check it out. Now, there is a substantial amount that is accessible by the team. You all know that I always talk about this and say, hey, if the team can access a lot of tokens, make sure they are doing right by the tokens and using it for the right things. So this does allow you access to see where all of the tokens will be, and you can see what they are doing with them firsthand. But with that said, that's kind of the general breakdown of what Brickken is and what they have at this given point. This is something that I believe has a substantial amount of potential because, again, they solve some of the problems that I personally have seen within this space. So as time does go forward, as they do continue to develop, I will continue to update you about them, and I will continue to update you about different cryptos and new projects that I'm investing in, because I am buying up all of these little lottery tickets before the bull run does come. You all know that my whole goal right now is to, put 0.5, 1% of my portfolio into some of these smaller cryptos, because as time does go forward, these may be some of the cryptos that take over the top 100. And I obviously want to have some type of exposure to it. So understand, I'm not telling you to go buy this token. I simply just wanted to show you a company that I think is worth investing in for me personally in my portfolio, and some of the things about it that make it a good token, at least in my opinion, so that you can use that to apply it to your own research. But with that said, that's going to be about it for today's video. Of course, I hope you guys did enjoy, and I will see you all next time. Peace.